I had never felt smaller in a room full of people before. The chandelier lights of the grand auditorium reflected in the polished wooden floor, glinting like shards of my own humiliation. My half-sister, Emma, stood on the stage with a gleaming award in her hands, her smile radiant and practiced. I should have been happy for her. I wanted to be. But I didn't have time to think about her triumph. Because of him.
Dad.
He leaned back in his seat, arms crossed, eyes glinting with the kind of mischief that never seemed innocent. "So, you're still flipping burgers for a living?" he said loud enough for the surrounding tables to hear. His smirk was like a dagger coated in amusement. The words hung in the air like smoke. The first chuckle came from a neighbor. Then a ripple. Then my sister laughed.
Emma.
My sister. My own family laughing at me, feeding the audience's amusement. My chest tightened. My face burned red. I could feel the sting of every eye in that room, not just from the joke but from the betrayal, the sheer disrespect. I didn't laugh. I didn't smile. I didn't even breathe. I just stood, my chair scraping against the hardwood in a sound that seemed deafening in the auditorium. And then I walked out. The hallway outside was empty, echoing with the fading laughter and applause from the ceremony. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't care. I just needed air, space, something to remind me I existed beyond the humiliation. I felt like a ghost, invisible yet painfully exposed. When I returned home, I didn't speak to anyone for days.
My phone rang.
Messages piled up. Friends trying to check in, Emma texting me cautiously, Dad leaving voicemails that all sounded the same, smug, dismissive, unapologetic. I ignored them. The hurt had settled deep inside me, and no words could reach it. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of silence, of wrapping myself in solitude, of replaying the ceremony over and over in my mind. Every laugh, every smirk, every whispered comment. The embarrassment was a wound I couldn't dress. Then, one rainy evening, there was a knock at the door. I froze. My heart hammered. The knock came again, insistent, echoing in the empty hall of my apartment. Slowly, cautiously, I approached and peered through the peephole. It was him, Dad. His usual confident, slightly arrogant posture was gone. He stood there, drenched by the rain, eyes wide, hands shoved deep into the pockets of his soaked coat. For the first time, he didn't look amused. He looked vulnerable. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed to ignore him, to close the door and pretend he didn't exist. But some small, foolish part of me wanted to hear him out, even if it killed me. "Can I come in?" he asked, voice softer than I'd ever heard. No smirk, no laugh, just a raw, almost desperate tone. I didn't answer. Instead, I opened the door a crack, just enough to let him step into the foyer, but kept my arms crossed, body tense. The rain dripped from his coat onto the mat, a silent reminder of the storm he brought in, not just outside but inside my life. I need to say something, he began, shifting his weight, avoiding my gaze. About the ceremony. About what I said. I let out a short, bitter laugh. "You mean about making fun of me? In front of everyone? My own sister?" He winced.
Yes. I
wasn't thinking. I was trying to be funny. I didn't realize how much it would hurt you. "Funny," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Funny is making people laugh with you, not at your expense. You made me the joke." And Emma, she laughed too. His eyes filled with something I wasn't sure I wanted to name. Regret? Guilt? Perhaps even fear. I know she laughed, and that's on me. And maybe on her too. But you don't get it, I interrupted, my voice rising. You don't get that it wasn't about the job or the award or even her. It was about respect. About seeing me as your child, not as a punchline. And you failed. He swallowed hard, nodding, lips pressed together like he was tasting his own words and finding them bitter. I did. I failed. And I'm sorry. I can't take back what I said, or what I made her say. But I can try. I want to try. Please, just let me try. I stared at him. For the first time in years, the man who had been a figure of authority, of mockery, of casual cruelty, seemed small, fragile, human. And yet, the hurt inside me burned hotter than any forgiveness I could offer. "You can try," I said finally, voice steady but low, "but it's not going to fix what happened. Not overnight. Not ever completely." He nodded again, slowly, as if he had anticipated that.
I know.
"I don't expect it to. I don't want to lose you too." And then, unexpectedly, I felt the first thaw in the ice around my heart. Not forgiveness, not acceptance, but acknowledgement. He saw me, truly saw me, and that was more than I had in that auditorium when my humiliation had been loudest. We stood there in the dripping rain, neither of us moving for a long moment. My anger didn't disappear, and my pride didn't crumble, but I realized something crucial. Change was possible, even if it was slow, even if it was painful. 2 weeks, I said finally. That's how long it took me to even consider talking to you. Understand that this isn't a reset. You have to earn your way back. "I will," he whispered. "I swear I will." And as he stepped inside, shaking off rain, offering no gifts, no excuses, just presence, I felt something shift. The storm hadn't passed, but at least someone had entered it with me. Someone had finally acknowledged the wind and rain I had been living in alone. It wouldn't erase the ceremony. It wouldn't erase the laughter. It wouldn't undo Emma's obliviousness or the humiliation etched in my mind. But it was a start. A first step towards something I hadn't even known I could want. A chance to be seen, respected, and perhaps slowly loved. Sometimes, the loudest applause in a room can echo long after the event. And sometimes, the quietest acknowledgement, just a simple presence, a raw apology, can echo even louder. I didn't hug him. I didn't smile. But I didn't slam the door either. And that, I realized, was enough for tonight.